I'll go first. Can you guys
take it?
All right. So working on Strong Stack is a way to track competitor websites, and it's built specifically for SaaS companies. So tracking things like features, prices, or new designs. And I'm open to brutally honest feedback, just trying to improve. So if you have anything, just throw it at me. And that's strongstack.io.
You drop that link in the chat as well.
So I imagine we have a chat or just in general.
Oh, probably. Okay, yeah, I found it. So there's event and then sessions. So I think that should be just a session. Perfect. All right, so design nitpick. For mine at least, there's an orphan word. Updates is all by itself on a separate line, which looks weird. I'm on MacBook Air 13-inch.
Yeah.
I also see that.
I'm on the MacBook, and it's the same for me, where it's on a separate line. And you think that would look better if everything was on a single line?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Either, or if there are at least like 3 words there, it'll just look neater.
Gotcha.
I would just sign up. What are we signing up for? Is it for?
So you're signing up to get insights, and the plan was, even though there's a sign up under the price, that's more like a trial close. Anybody at the stage that it is right now, anyone who hit that button, they would get 10 free insights free, which is at the very bottom. Where I say get 10 insights free. So even if you try to sign up for the $97 a month plan, you'll just get 10 insights to make sure like it's a good fit, that I can reliably get insights on your competitors. It's not good for every industry. It's good for like hyper competitive, like customer messaging, email marketing, podcast hosting.
Yeah.
but
So
if
that's
you
a big action call at the end, which is where it usually is. Mm-hmm. Since your page is so long, maybe get 10 insights for free. Maybe something up here, but yeah, it's good that it's at the end, I guess. I don't know what to do about this sign up.
Got it. Thank you.
So if I understand, the insight is just a screen capture. That's all.
So you can actually click, the insights are screen captures, but if you want to see the full, because those are all above the fold. Some of these pages, like the one for OmniSend, if you click view OmniSend changes, you get like a full page screenshot. And that's the ultimate like deliverable. You'll get a report of these, but then they'll also include links to like the full diff, the full comparison for your competitors and those changes.
Okay, but I mean, it doesn't analyze it. It doesn't tell me, oh, by the way, they just changed their pricing, or they just introduced. I have to look at the screen capture and figure out what they changed.
Yes and no. So like on the OmniSend example, it says changed enterprise pricing plan. So I'm giving you a summary, but it becomes, so I won't go into like super detail. You won't get 100 to 300 word summary of what changed, but you're getting a high level change. And that allows you to say, hey, I probably don't care about this change. And I haven't gotten this far, but if you're getting updates that you don't care about, just let us know and that will be changed. But this is like a high level summary to give you, the ability to dive deeper in.
Okay. I mean, my feedback is that I'm not sure exactly what I'm getting as an insight.
Got it.
And I don't understand the use cases. Like, if the use cases were right on top.
Mm-hmm. Now this is good.
These screenshots here, they're kind of the use cases, I guess, like the sample reports, right?
Right.
We're not really sure though, like looking at them, what they are. Maybe explain before it starts. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what I mean is that I don't know how it applies to me. Like, let's say I'm.
So what are the benefits?
Like who are the users? Like if
I think
the bottom there's market covered. So email marketing. So I'm using email marketing tools, and I want to see if someone's offering a better deal.
No, so this is perfect, like everything you're saying. So I'm taking notes because what I'm taking away is like some websites, they will have use cases and they'll tell you exactly like if you're in this situation, if you're in this situation, if you're in this situation. And I don't have that. With the markets covered by like email marketing, what I meant there is if you are an email marketing company, not using email marketing, but if you're an email marketing company. And the thing that all of those markets have in common are that they're very competitive. Like there are over 30 podcast hosting companies, over 50 customer messaging companies, and it's too much to keep up with manually. You may be losing potential customers because someone added a feature or lowered prices. But like you said, I haven't communicated that, and that's something that I need to add.
Okay.
Are you thinking about offering different plans, or you're sticking with this one for now?
I'm open to like pricing and open to like lowering, raising, whatever. I'm just trying to validate.
Most people just want to track 10 domains, or
yeah. So a few days ago, I didn't imagine a use case like this, but you have companies like Zoho or Zendesk or Salesforce where they have like tens of products and they dip their toe in so many verticals that they will need to track more than 10 domains, possibly in some cases 100, because they have CRMs, they do email automation, email marketing, project management. Like they dip their toes in so many industries that their project managers or marketers may want to track different verticals.
So I'd say add an extra pricing table on the right where it's enterprise, call me, kind of talk to sales or whatever, contact sales for custom plan.
Now that's really good. Yeah. And I
see that a lot.
Got it. Thank you. You guys have any other feedback, or we want to move
on? I guess we should probably have time to do two more. So let's go on to the next one.
Okay. Thank you.
Who wants to be number two? Or should we keep piling on Drew?
I can't be number two. The only problem is it's a new project, so the website is not available. I have only the domain name. But if you
can also, if the landing page isn't ready, just bring up the idea and we can kind of talk through it and try to poke holes in it.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm working on a project where people can send money from the US to Ethiopia, which is like in East Africa. And it's using a cryptocurrency on the behind. One of the reasons I don't have the website ready yet is because we haven't figured out like regulation side of things. One of the reasons, the hardest part is like a lot of things you do in crypto is it's usually not the technical side that is challenging, but the regulation side of things. So until we figure that out, it's gonna be a little bit challenging, but I'm working through that. So the main problem we're trying to solve is when you send money from here to any other country using Western Union, usually you pay anywhere between 5 to 15% fee. But using our platform, you could reduce that into as little as like 0.5%, maximum up to 3.5%. So that's going to be the selling point.
I had a question.
Yes.
Are you finished?
Well, yeah, I am done.
Okay. I wanted to know, like, in terms of like defensible, I guess, advantages. Like, do you have anything in mind that like this is different, but also others, it will be hard for others to copy like this difference?
Yeah. So one of the challenge is when you try to do money remittance, you have to follow whatever country. You have to follow each country's regulation. And usually, like, you need to get a license, you need to get you need to be approved. So this process by itself is very hard to enter. So one of the reasons we are using a cryptocurrency, which is going to be a stablecoin, is because behind it, you don't need to have all these licenses because you can convert customers' funds into a cryptocurrency, and then you can play around with the cryptocurrency. Usually, the crypto doesn't have a lot of regulation in outside of US, but it's still work in the progress. So if you want to come and copy, like you can copy. You can be like a competitor in, let's say, come and do it in Ethiopia. But if you want to do it, let's say, in Kenya or in Nigeria, you have to follow each country's regulation, and that by itself takes almost it takes like sometimes a couple of years, especially if you don't know. So for me, let's say we've been going through this, figuring out like each step, and it's been about like already 6 months. And even like the amount you pay for lawyers is a lot of money by itself. So It's very hard to enter, but yeah, once you pass that stage, it's the competition is gonna be really low. Mm-hmm. And then another part I see is also how big the market is, because let's say the market is really huge, but there are only like a couple of players around. You can still make a good business. So remittance in Ethiopia, for example, is up for I think it's like $4 to $10 billion market. So right now it's only Western Union, MoneyGram, and probably like 3 other competitors. So if we get into this business and we even get like 0.5% of the total market, that's still gonna be like a very huge market for us. So that's the way I see it. Yeah.
I don't know anything about like how Cash App or like Venmo works across borders. Like, do they not work?
No, they don't, because usually they work in the US, but once you start like getting out of the US, it becomes very challenging. It's not like the technology, but the same issue where you go to the country, you need to follow their money rules, and then there might be also foreign exchange issues usually. So, for example, in Ethiopian case, okay, yeah, you can send money into Ethiopia, but getting that money outside of the Ethiopia is like really very challenging. So we're trying to figure out each step by step before we do any kind of coding. Yeah, as I mentioned, like technical wise, I don't think it would take like more than 4 weeks to really build the application, but it's just the other part, which is the difficult part. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Like I've noticed that Stripe, they're investing in a lot of like Nigerian payment processors, and it may be because like they have boots on the ground that are familiar with like the regulation and everything, like you said.
Yep. Actually, I don't know if you guys followed, but Twitter founder Jack Dorsey, he's been based in Africa. Actually, I got the chance to meet him in Ethiopia too. So
wow.
Yeah, his main plan is not to come in, let's say, like expand the Stripe or Cash App there, but more like they want to acquire not a small, but like startups if you do the right job. So I feel like you would acquire maybe a couple of businesses in the next years in Nigeria, most probably like in Nigeria. So yeah, remittance market outside of US is like really huge market.
Is there any like because you mentioned it's a really, really big general market. Is there like a sub niche you can start in and dominate and grow out of?
Yeah. So one of the sub market we've been looking for was mostly working with nonprofits. So they say as a nonprofit, a lot of these companies they accept a donation from outside of Ethiopia. So one way we're trying to approach this is going through these people where they can send their money through our platform. But the only issue is when we go to B2B side of things, the response we get, the cycle, the period, it increases. If you are going to close a deal, let's say with just a normal customer in 5 days, this would take it like 2 weeks, 2 months. So that has been like a little bit frustrating, but we already found, a couple of interested businesses in this. So yeah, we're first finishing up the customer side of things. Yep. But yeah, I think other than that, another niche market could be also, I don't know if, like small businesses as well. They say, I don't know if you heard the word hawala. You know hawala. Hawala is also it means like remittance, but usually it's used. Let's say they're like part of let's say there's a big remittance company and there would be like a branch companies. So they're called hawala. So maybe we're trying to work with those companies as well. But because of regulation, a lot of these guys, they just don't want to work with any other person. Especially if you say like, I'm from crypto, they're like, no. That's a challenging part so far.
Yeah. Is there a way you can make your UX so people, like the transactions are done using cryptocurrency, but they don't ever have to interact with it?
Yep. So that's
where it just feels
what
like
we're
money
doing.
to them.
Yes. Okay, so when you come to our app, you don't need to know how it works, but when you come and put your credit card information, we're going to convert that into a cryptocurrency and behind. So the customer really doesn't know about crypto. Actually, this is how crypto going to get into mainstream, is because of gaming and other applications that the customer doesn't know about it. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Cool. Do we want to do another one?
Right now, I'm trying to get in the freelance, trying to develop my own portfolio. So I'm trying to get ideas on what to do for myself. So what I can showcase to know that I do like a full stack, like I can do the whole thing from the idea to the implementation, and try to do the thing as quick as possible. Like let's say you want to do a point of sale or something, you gotta deal it with, and you need it to do quickly and have the template. Just make the template and make it run. Uh, I'm using, I try to use React with the front end and the Django on the back end. That would make a full stack web application. So you can make like the API request with the Django side, and then display it with the React or any other visualization tools you may have for the front end. It's very, it's tough because for being on your own and trying to implement this on yourself. So I'm trying to get any ideas of something that I can do quick. Probably the to-do list app, I've tried it already, but like something that I can showcase, hey, I know how to work with databases, and I can take this database and put it into something that you can visualize. I'm trying to get ideas on that. Nothing like a product or a service in specific in general, not necessarily. I just want to let people know that I can work things out and make things happen. Depending on the project, and that I can work on the whole spectrum. It's not easy. It's not easy. But we're trying. That's the thing. If anyone can pass on to any of you other guys, I don't know. I'm just looking like I'm pointing at one of you guys. You can keep going.
No, I had some idea. Well, an idea. Like I remember starting out, and like you said, you want to build more than a to-do app. So what I did was I started like cloning other like more complicated applications like Reddit. Like it's still simple enough. It's basically a to-do app with voting where it'll resort based on the amount of votes. But it sounded like you were trying to build your portfolio, and I think like slight would work better in the portfolio. So Reddit. I'm trying to think of like other simple ones. Maybe not Twitter, but like that's more complicated than a to-do app. But the overarching idea is like look around at like applications that are either like popular or slightly more complex than the to-do app, and think about how you would recreate it. And a lot of times people have created like 4 or 5 tutorials online, so you can like copy those and then make it your own in different ways.
Yeah, because I think I can demonstrate that I can work JavaScript and the DOM manipulation stuff. Like I know what the document, that element, blah 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 works out. All of that stuff I can work it out. The thing is how to integrate it into something I can tell. Like I can manage databases and this, and something that is practical.
Right.
Because there's a lot of stuff that. And probably I'm overcomplicating stuff. It's just make a clone and just let it run with the dummies, and make it happen. This is what I can do. Because I see a lot of people say, no, you know front end, and you can work the front end. That is I already demonstrate that. The logic.
You went out.
Like the logic, like you can manage a database, and then with what you have already plus that would make you like a full stack,
And you may be overcomplicating things because you said it as I was thinking it. Like if you're competent with the full stack, there are a lot of like backend as a service applications that are popping up, like a Firebase, static kit or user. It's like backend as a service where you can be a front end developer and you can get like persistence, you can get a backend, and then you can also get jobs because somebody said it earlier, but they're like, it was a crypto guy. He was like, customers don't really care. Like they just want their problem solved. So if you're competent with the front end, maybe like not outsource, but like don't even worry about the back end. Just learn to work with one of these tools, the interface. And then eventually like you'll need to do more and more and more. You'll just pick it up gradually. So I would just focus on the front end, try to get jobs like that, and become confident enough that you can make data persist.
Okay. So just focus on the front end and tell them like that. I'm a front end engineer and trying to get something with that.
Yeah,
demonstrate.
like, be able to still create the solution, but it doesn't have to. You don't have to build the backend. You don't have to manage the database. You can use. I'm trying to see like a way to get your contact details, because I can send you like 4 or 5 links. There are a lot of like services out there. Like Firebase is one. If you just look at Firebase alternatives, a ton of companies will pop up where it's built for JavaScript developers. You just have to focus on the UI, and the same code that you're writing to like make the UI do things, you'll use to pull data from the database, but you don't have to know pretty much anything about like the way that's working.
Okay, so it's just like get the rest, connect to an API, and then put it in, demonstrate, and that's how that's my portfolio. That would be like a portfolio. Like I'm connecting to because I got one already working with the US. Right now they got the quakes going on, and I have something that I can that I get it already from the React with the Axios. I can get the USGS data, and I already got it on the list.
Yep.
And I can put, and that would be like a nice portfolio.
Yep.
So it would be like, and that is like, I think I can work that out.
Yep.
The thing is, I'm probably sometimes too perfectionist.
Same here.
You know, like I want this like with the app. Like I can show it to you now, and this is nice. But the thing is, I want it to be perfect. Like,
we get in our.
I want to touch the list, and the list want to show here, and then
we get in we get in our own way. Like with me, I describe myself as like this self-defeating behavior. But like we get in our own way. Like we overcomplicate stuff. I was overcomplicating Stone Stack. They were like, we don't need daily alerts. Just send us a weekly report. And it was just like the next day you had reports. We get in our own way. Reminding me.
Yeah. It's just do it, because I haven't like the last time I tried something, and I tried to do something with the Twitter and like a bot that would auto post, and with the markup, and I was like, the second day I want to give myself 48 hours to do this. Like, and when 2 days, boom, and then I stop it. And I think that's a nice approach, because that way I'm not doing a lot of stuff. Like, if I didn't do it in 48 hours, I'm not going to even worry about that thing. And then just move on to the next thing.
Yeah, I did that with cold email. I was like, I've been saying I needed to send cold email for like 2 or 3 weeks. I said, I'm going to send it in the next 30 minutes with whatever I have. And it took 50 minutes, but I sent it, you know. Yeah, sometimes you just have to time box it and say, whatever it is, I'm just going to ship it.
I think that's because I don't want to sound like I'm shooting onto the dark, you know, because there's a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of people doing the same thing. Like you go and search for Tetris, Sudoku app. Everybody got a Sudoku app, or the to-do list. Everybody has done the to-do list. So that's not enough for me to showcase. Like, this is not. Or sometimes I see stuff that I have done, and people are like, but there's no use to this. Like, I already have something else. Like, but they even the same page.
That's another reason to specialize and to not worry about the back end, because you go to Product Hunt and it's like a lot of undifferentiated stuff, but they can design their ass off. So it's like beautiful. So if you specialize, like you can eventually get where it's just like a wild experience. Like, sure, you know, a habit tracker. I recently saw a habit tracker that was like too beautiful. Like I didn't trust it functionality wise. It could have worked, but it was just like so freaking pretty.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's making things functional. It's like having an issue and solve it. I think that's another approach you may have to getting someone to connect to. You know, like I have something that to offer you, like solve a need. I think that's what's about mostly. A lot of people like the eBay scrapers and stuff like that, and they just follow through that, or checking some data. Like I can check like if I had some amount like to spend,
Mm-hmm.
just check with the car data, like scrape the data of the car sales,
Mm-hmm.
and just buy used cars and follow through and buy and sell used cars. That's another thing you can like we can implement, like I can implement.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot of stuff at once, and at least for me, it would be something like I do this and I specialize in this.
Yeah. One thing I did for a short period was like every month, like I would just ship a product. You can maybe do that like weekly or something to like shorten the feedback loop. But it's the same,
Yeah.
like you said, the 48 hours. And eventually, like your ideas get better, you get better technically. You're able to say like what you don't want to build, which is just as effective as like knowing what you want to build. Yeah.
That's the thing, because when you don't want to build something, it's like everything will push you to do that.
Mm.
Like I don't wanna, like, let's say something like C#. I don't work with C#,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the market here. Is C, like I know if I can do 3 months of C# and apply and make something, I'm gonna get something with that.
Yeah.
Because every year at least here in Puerto Rico, the market is like dominated.
Yeah.
With that, and everybody is ASP. So that could be another thing. The thing is, I want to do that on my own.
Yeah. Focus on, well, this is coming my experience. I was in Tallahassee, which is like government and education. It was the same exact situation. There wasn't a single like Ruby job at all in the whole city. And then I moved to Atlanta and there was like hundreds of them. But then once I got in that market, like I shot up really quick because it's like I was doing what I love. So I think if you have love for it, you'll just get a lot better, a lot quicker.
Just drive it through. I think that 48-hour idea is a good idea.
Do that, man.
All right, so you got 10 seconds now. I don't know what's going next.
Oh, we can't hear you, Anthony.
Yeah, you got a 10-second notice.
So head over to main stage. It's the last bit, and I'll just let you guys know what's coming up next, what to watch out for, and then we'll wrap it up.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Cool.